Well, hello, everyone. Happy June 1st. It's Wednesday. It's the first day of Pride Month. It's 3:05 p.m. PDT in Fresno, California. I know we're all in a lot of different time zones, and I just want to welcome you all to developing your authentic brand. So, branding and authenticity are two of my passions. And over the last 7 years, I've really been able to integrate both of those with a marketing background coming from Fresno State and really bringing marketing and branding and authenticity all together. What we're going to do over the next 75 minutes is we're going to begin developing and ideating your current brand, your future brand. I know some of you have your own businesses on here. Some of you, that may be a few years before it becomes a reality. So whether you want to create a brand, whether you want to launch your brand soon or rebrand, I really believe this workshop is going to support you. I want to just go in the chat and read why some people are here. Maria's here to clarify her vision and mission. Bertha wants clarity around her brand. Christian, you're awesome. Number one, always here to support you. Oh my gosh, I'm giving you a heart. And clarity and structure. Parent, all the things. Okay. Aloria, deeper clarity. Grace, Grace, I want to give a shout out. So Grace is a college student at my alma mater college, and she's part of the honors program I was part of, and she just has some big creative ideas. So you're in the right place. She wants to see how people envision, build, and highlight their brand. Becky, new insights into branding and marketing. Aloria, have fun with words. We'll talk a lot about meaningful language today. And if any of you, as I'm reading these, want to add this to your reason why you're here, go for it. And that's the reason why I'm doing it right now. Learning how to tell my story and prepare to launch a business in the future. Gosh, the power of storytelling. Stories are what change minds, that change hearts. Getting clear on my vision for my business, recenter my ideas, getting clear on how to get started. All right, awesome. And Michelle, FOMO, to get clear with why someone should work with me specifically to get non-essential info out by marketing. Okay. Sam, hello, welcome. And if everyone can go on mute, there'll definitely be time where we'll converse and potentially go out in breakout rooms or share as a group. I know most of you, but for those of you that don't know me, my name is Luca Petrucci. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I am just so excited to be here. I'm a speaker, a business consultant. All the work I do, the foundation of it is authenticity, is self-acceptance, self-discovery. And that's a reason why I chose to lead this workshop on the first day of Pride Month, because Pride Month really represents the freedom to be. And I feel that that's so important as you're creating a brand, to really be in a space where you feel free to be uniquely you. You know, each of us have such different gifts and talents, and you are the only one that can do what you can do in the exact way that you can do it. So as we dive into this, I really want you to hold that near and dear to your heart. It's something that I don't always believe. Some days I feel like an imposter and I'm like, how did I get here? You know, and building my self-confidence in myself and my brand is a practice, just like lifting weights, meditating, journaling, drinking enough water in your day, you know. So what we're going to do are three things. So the first is I'm going to ask you a lot of questions to start getting clarity around your brand. I know a few of we have worked together in workshops before, so you're gonna get even more clear. And for those of you that this is the very first time you're saying yes to this workshop, great. You're in the correct spot. The second thing is we're going to begin to create a vision for your brand. I think it's really important to know where you're going to really like paint that vision in the future that helps you know the next correct step to do today. So we'll have some fun in a future vision. And lastly, we're all going to walk away with a brand mission statement. Some of us have a mission statement. Some of us may not know what a mission statement is. That's all welcome. So we're going to begin to create that. And every call that I lead with, whether it's a student, whether it's a client, I always like to have some guidelines. So I have a few here. The first is to ask questions throughout. If I say something and you're like, I don't know, I am a little confused, I bet one other person or more has the question, throw it in the chat, come off mute. If I don't see it in the chat, speak up and be like, hey, Luca, have a question. Know that there's one or more gold nuggets just waiting for you. Just know that something is really here for you. And also for the people watching in the future that weren't able to make it, that will watch the recording. You'll remember more of what you say and less what I say. So when you think about this workshop in 2 months from now, I really believe that you're going to remember more the thing that you wrote in the chat, or you shared in a breakout room, or you spoke aloud to this group of amazing humans that are here. And the last two things, just know that this is a safe space. You are so welcome as you are right now. You're so enough as you are. And I'm so clear and grounded to really hold the space for you to fully be you. So just know that. And this next thing is called a clearing. And I like to do it before I do anything. I start my day, I start a call. And the two questions I want you to answer are, what are you releasing? And what are you welcoming in our next hour together? What this is just like you're shelving it. You're not ignoring that, something with your child is happening after, or there's a lot going on at work, or you need to have a hard conversation with your family. You're not ignoring it. You're just shelving it like a book, putting it on the shelf for the next hour together. So first question is, what are you releasing? And the second is, what are you welcoming in? Like, what are you saying hell yes to for the next hour? And I'll have you write that down just on your notebook. If you want to share in the chat, feel free to share in the chat. And I would love to hear from one person that feels called to share something they're releasing and something they're welcoming in and saying yes to.
Hi, Luca, I'll share. So I'm releasing all the paperwork that is all over my office because I just got home from vacation and I'm trying not to fall into that thing of like, oh my gosh, every time I go away, it piles up. And so just being present in the room, knowing that that will all be taken care of. And this is where I want to be now. So I'm releasing all the paperwork that's surrounding me right now.
I felt that. Wow. And just like being present to where you want to be right now. Snap to the snap cup for that. I'm excited for Legally Blonde 3 coming out soon. Okay. Maria, let's share.
Hey, Luca. Hey, everybody. I am releasing needing to solve my brand or needing to figure out or solve anything with my brand. And I'm welcoming in just creative, fun guidance and expression, kind of like painting a canvas. So thank you so much for creating and leading this.
You're so welcome. And I love that imagery, just like painting this canvas that's full of possibility, and you choose the colors and objects and images. What a great, let's go to the next thing. So the first thing I want to talk about, so I'm going to share some wisdom from experience and mentors of mine, college professors of mine, courses that I've taken. I'm going to share that about what a brand is. Like, what does a brand mean? And then for the rest of the call, I'm going to ask y'all a lot of questions, and it's more like grab your paintbrush or your pen and write on your canvas. So it's really important to know the difference between a business and a brand. For so many years, I thought they were both the same. And it's important to notice the difference. So if you want to build your current business, your future business, you have to build your brand. So first off, what I consider a business is products or services you produce or offer. So it's like those tangible things. If you're a coach, it's, how you're coaching people. If you, Sam, you work at Freshfield Juice, it is the juice. Like it's that product. Now, it's more, yeah. So does that make sense to everybody? Like when I refer to a business, it'll be more like, the thing that you offer and the thing that you sell. Now with a brand. So a brand is really humanizing your business. It's why people say yes to you. Because how many other coaches are there out there that may have a similar program that you have? How many juice places are out there? How many coffee places? How many yoga studios? How many authors? There's so many. There's thousands of thousands. But the brand is why people say hell freaking yes to you. Your brand is your business's energy, your business's spirit. I wrote something down that I want to make sure that I read it exactly how I wrote down. So a brand is humanizing your business so people relate to it, remember it, and want to be part of it. Don't get me wrong, it's so important to have a high quality product. And if you offer a service, that there's a lot of intention and thought and experience that goes behind that. But today we're not talking about the business side. We're talking about your brand. And when I first heard brand, when I officially started my business full time in 2020, I initially thought of brand colors, aesthetic on Instagram, the fonts, hiring somebody to take my photos, how my Instagram would look. That's what I thought. And that's a part of your brand, but it's just a part. And all the work we're going to do today is so important to do before you get there. So does anybody have any questions about things that I've said so far? Need any clarification? And any question is welcome. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do now, I want each of us, actually, before we get there, I want to show you one thing. So I'm going to share my screen with you because this is what I feel a holistic brand is. These are all the pieces. So when I share this, maybe you want to write this down, take a screenshot of it because it's really, really important information. So do y'all see this? Thumbs up. Okay, so this is what a brand is. A brand is a vision that inspires you and is so authentic to you. We'll start creating that today. It's a vision, mission, and legacy statement.
Luca?
Yes.
Luca, can you hear me? I just see your desktop. Does anyone else just see his desktop, or am I losing it? Are you showing a specific item?
Ooh, thank you for speaking up.
Thank you, boo.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Let me see. Do y'all see this now? Awesome, cool. It's goals that will help you achieve your vision. It's your what, a description of what you do, your empowerment statement, how you empower others as a brand. Your who are you impacting? Your why, your hook. What makes your business one of a kind? and I'm actually going to switch the word. What makes your brand one of a kind? Your promises to your clients and your community. So every time, a client connects with you, what do you promise they'll leave with? Every time you step into, we're going to talk about Freshfield Juice. It's my favorite juice place in Fresno that's near me. What are you promising that your clients leaving with, your customers leaving with every time? Brand values, a name, tagline, logo, your brand identity. This is humanizing it. The personality, voice, language. Then there's the brand visuals, aesthetics, colors, fonts, and feels. And most important, it's you. It's you. It's your people. It's your team. It's your community. So after this call, you can step out really being, what, this is a piece of my brand. I'm going to own it. When I chat with my family tonight, when I chat with a client tomorrow, I'm going to own it. So this is really the whole brand. We're not going to dive into each of these. This is a process, but we'll start to fine-tune some pieces of this. Okay, I'm going to stop my share. Cool. Okay, so now what I want you to do is everybody grab a pen. I think everybody has a pen and paper. I want you to do a little reflecting. So what are 2 to 3 brands that you continue to say hell yes to? Whether it's a product, whether it's a service, I want each of you to write down, 2 to 3 brands that you continue to choose. And I'm going to put this question in the chat. So identify 2 to 3. Maybe it's a coaching brand, a clothing brand. There's a lot. And then the second is, why do you choose to support them?
Luca, I also have a question when talking about brands. Is brand not limited to time so that it could form and adjust and change?
Oh my gosh, yes. Such a great point. Just as we evolve as humans and the world evolves, your brand's going to evolve. And that's why it's important to do this work. I would say at least 1 or more times a year, especially if you're in self-discovery, if you're in the trying of things. But Grace, oh my gosh, thank you for sharing that. It's definitely not definite. So what are 2 to 3 brands you continue to say yes to time and time again, and why do you choose to support them? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put us in a little breakout room, and you're going to meet a friend. Maybe you know them. I know some of you know each other, and maybe you don't know them. So just share your name. You can share why you're here, and then answer this question. And maybe if you're a little stuck on the question, talk through it.
Oh, hi.
Welcome back.
No, and actually we know each other, so I love that you put us in the same room.
Oh my gosh,
That's
that was divinity. I just did an assignment randomly, but it's random is divine, I'm learning.
No, and we both know Maria, who led us to you.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, how special. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. And Maria, thanks for bringing Perrin and Alexandria. They were in a room together. Awesome. Okay, cool. Let's see. Well, welcome back, everyone. If you're okay, just muting yourself as you pop back into the big room. So I would love to hear from 2 or more people. Like, why are you continuing to say hell yes to certain brands? So just a couple people, just raise your hand or come off mute and just share a couple, some brands that you're continuing to say yes to and why. Yeah, Charlie, go for it.
Yeah, so one of the ones that I shared about is a coffee shop in the town that I went to college. It's called Chapters. And, oh, there we go. One of the things that always keeps me coming back to Chapters is the fact that it's a place that has always served as a communal space for me, either as a person or with my friends. They've created a really homey atmosphere. They have a really old, cracked brick and mortar exposed brick wall, and all the patrons who come there have this tradition of leaving encouraging messages in the cracks in the wall for other people to pull out and read. So it's always cool to like, you always go back to chapters like, oh, I wonder if there's any notes that somebody left, and you like search the wall and pull out a little roll up piece of paper, and someone's like left a message that's like super nice, like, I hope you have a great day, or like an inspiring quote, or it's just, I don't know, it's a place that feels very welcoming and safe and cozy, and it reminds me of all of the fun things that I loved about going to college.
Okay, I heard so many words. I heard community, I heard safe space, cozy. I'm also a surprise. You know, it sounds like thing you like about that brand is like the surprise of the little notes that are in the cracks. Like, oh my gosh, I want to get a surprise note. Like, I wish we still wrote notes. Think about back to grammar school. Thanks for sharing that, Charlie. Yeah, one or more people come on and share, like, why are you saying yes to brands that you support?
Well, I'll go ahead. It surprised me because the two brands I put down, because I was hard struck to try to think of something. One kind of made me feel dirty in putting down, which is Starbucks, because they're taking over the world, but they're always there and it's always dependable. But I'd much rather support independent, which was my second choice of Powell's Books, which is in Oregon. And I always go to them first over like an Amazon or anything, because unfortunately Fresno doesn't have a lot of bookstores anymore. But Powell's is an independent bookstore, and that's really important to me, is to support local and to support independent. So that's something I keep.
Yeah, Becky, I have another question for you. So what about pals? Like, how does it make you feel when you step in there? Like, yeah, how does it make you feel like when you're like, oh, you're here and you're looking for a book?
So I've only been there once because they're in Oregon and I'm in California, but I was there on business. And so I used mostly online for them. But the one time I did go up for a conference and I could physically be there, they, and in fact, the picture in front of or in back of me is actually Powell's. You walk in and they handed me a map, and anytime you could actually get lost in a bookstore and need a map is someplace I want to be. So it's very safe feeling, cozy, you know, everything that Charlie was saying, that, and I just love books, and their rare book room, if you're ever there, you walk in and it's just the smell of heaven. So, so yeah, just all the good feelings. And they have a cafe.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
I definitely hear the word like support. You know, you feel supported. I mean, if they're giving you a map when they're stepping in. Yeah. One more person share someone who wrote down a brand that has more of an offering versus a product. And why do you continue to say yes to that? It could be something like a therapist, a personal trainer, a life coach, a business coach, a pastor at a church. Why? Yeah, someone that like you're like, oh yeah, come off and share, please.
Luke, I can pop on. It wasn't that specific for me. It was actually a couple authors. And the reason, I mentioned it because I couldn't think of like a product I was super loyal to, but the idea that like when certain people release books or things or podcasts, I'm like, yes, I'm in for it. And part of it was consistency, part of it was value, it's kind of like a mix. I couldn't really put a finger on it, but like Seth Godin was one, Simon Sinek was another. This idea that like they're going to, whatever they're going to offer me is probably going to be valuable. In some capacity, whether it's business knowledge, whether it's just a way of looking at the world. So those are things I'll take in regularly and enjoy them. Like it's interesting, and Simon Sinek or not, Seth Godin has a great thing about permission marketing, to where like I get emails, and his is one of the few ones that I read every day. He writes a blog every day, and like I look forward to it because it's a couple cents. It's consistent. It's probably short. It's probably got a little nugget of wisdom, and it's there. And that's a cool like relationship, if that makes sense.
Yes, thank you for bringing that kind of service, like something about consistency. I know as
Mhm.
I've launched my podcast and help people launch podcasts, like it's important, like people, we're creatures of habit. We want to know that
Mhm.
something comes out this day, same day of the week,
Ooh,
just
can I add one more thing? There's
yes.
another thing in there which there's rarely an ask. Gary Vaynerchuk wrote a book called Jab Jab Right Hook, and it's this idea of like you bring value before you start asking for shit. And there's other people that are coaches or stuff that like you sign up one email and I'm fucking inundated with their shit every day that I don't even want. I barely wanted the first thing, right? So it's like, and I get that there's funnels and there's ways about it, but it's this idea of like there's such a difference between like permission marketing of like I asked for your stuff versus I signed one email and now my life is you telling me what I'm doing wrong in my email box.
Yeah. Did that resonate with anybody?
Me.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So good. So good. Aloria shared, I find I continue to buy into people and products that I trust and are consistent. This is so important just to identify before we're about to identify what your brand is. You know how other brands make you feel in maybe a positive way or maybe not the best way at all. So this is all really important. So now what I'm going to have everyone do is get a blank piece of paper. So in your notebook, blank piece of paper. And some of you know this exercise. Some of you, it's going to be your first time doing it, and it is so fun. I'm going to have you draw a big circle. So a big circle like this on your piece of paper. So leave room on the outside, but have the circle on the inside. So this is a principle that I learned from Lightyear Leadership. I'm a certified coach there, and a lot of us on the call are too. And it's called the power of knowing what you want. So this circle, I want you to title it Power of Knowing What Kind of Brand You Want. So at the top, and I'll show you exactly what I did. Power of knowing what kind of brand you want. Power of knowing what kind of brand you want. So I know through practice that it's so important to focus on what you want versus what you don't want. So many times I just think about a human being, like as a college student, I'm speaking to a lot of college students right now, so it's on top of my mind. Like I went into college and I was like, I don't want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer, like my dad said. I don't want to live here. I don't want to do this. I was saying so many do not want instead of getting clear on what I really want. Like what is honest, what is true, what is real about me, because I believe it, not because someone told it to me. So what is honest, true, and real about your brand? Because it's what you believe, it's not because it's what someone told you. This is what you need to do. These are the 10 must-haves of, whatever, it's something that, yeah, like I get insight from my coaches, from my college education, and I have the choice to say, ooh, yes to that, or no to that. So on the middle of this circle, all the questions I ask, your answers that you're a hell yes for, things that you want to create with your brand, things you want to bring alive today and in the future. In the middle, you're going to write that. And on the outside, you're writing things that you don't want. So let's just say I ask you a question and you get stuck. I beg you to throw something on the outside of your circle. Okay. So any questions about that? Boom. Okay, the first, and this is where we're going to spend probably about 10 to 15 minutes. So we're going to hang out in here. So get real comfy. So what kind of brand do you really, really want to create on the inside of the circle? What kind of brand do you really, really want to create? Is it a consistent brand? Is it an authentic brand? Is it a cozy brand? Put those in your words, but what kind of brand do you really, really want to create? I'm adding the questions in the chat as well. You have the choice to create any type of brand you want to create. Are there characteristics that are similar to your personality? Are there things that are different? You know, and for the outside, like Christian, I heard something about on the outside, like an old way of selling or overselling or an constant annoying emails. I don't know, whatever. Because I get you. I'm like, we are inundated with information like never before. So what kind of brand do you really want to create? And I'm going to ask you about 6 questions, and they're same question, different way to ask it. The next is, what does your brand value? What is so important to your brand? Does it value community, like Charlie shared? Does it value honesty? Does it value friendship? I know Tony and I went to the most amazing writing retreat in North Carolina, digital detox retreat, and like a part of like Jedediah Jenkins' brand, the author that we went to, who led the retreat, is something about friendship or community or connection. You know, there was deep love. Deep love was valued there. Acceptance was valued there. So, what does your brand value? And if anybody ever wants to chat about Jedediah Jenkins and his language, I see parents saying, yeah, we can hop on another Zoom or meet in person sometime and talk about it. You know what? I'm really thinking about that. Like, he's an author, like Christian was saying, that I really resonate with. And why is he says things not the way that he thinks he should say them, how he knows they're true for him. So it's something about like uniqueness. I love a brand that's just so unique. And that uniqueness inspires me to connect to my uniqueness. So what does your brand value? The next one is, what does your brand stand for? So just think about a garden. You know, think about, you know, this beautiful garden. What's part of the soil? Like, you know, you're creating this garden that's going to bloom. That's going to take time. Everything, you know, is patience in there, but you want it to bloom. So what does it stand for? You know, what's at the foundation of it? Like, what are the seeds you're planting that you want to bloom? What does your brand stand for?
Luca, can you talk a little bit more about that question? I'm having a hard time unpacking it.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. So another thing, like, I'm going to share 2 examples. So one thing that my personal brand stands for is curiosity. Like, I'm a stand for curiosity in my soil as I was building my business. That's a value. You know, that's something I stand for. I stand for curiosity, whether you're a student, whether you're an entrepreneur. You know, something else that I stand for is queer advocacy, you know, is authenticity. So it's something that, like, another way, if I want to stand up for it. So like, I'm standing up for this group of people or this value. Does that make sense? I'll give you a little more time around that. And don't feel that you have to have 10 answers for one question. You know what I mean? Like, this is just the start. If you need to release a little pressure, expectation, like, please, I'm going to give you the permission slip that you don't need, but I'm still going to give you. So the next one is, how do you want your brand? How do you want your brand? Oh my gosh, let me see. How do you want your brand to make people feel? How, like, when someone walks through your doors or starts a coaching session with you or a consulting session, like, how do you want to make people feel? And I bet it's similar to how you want to feel when you're connecting with a certain brand or buying from a certain brand. So I have about 3 or 4 more questions I'm going to ask about this. Before we go there, I've been doing a lot of talking, you've been doing a lot of writing. I would love to hear from 1 or 2 people about something that's inside of their circle that they are just really passionate about, or just like so excited about, that like, yeah, that's my brand that I'm in the creation of.
I'll go.
Okay.
Um, one of my areas that I just put for how do I want people to feel, I'm, just started writing a blog that's kind of including a lot of my different areas of interest. And so I really want people to feel connected to what I'm putting out. I really want them to resonate with my writing, what I'm trying to put forth. I want them to be inspired by what I'm saying, and to be invested in what I'm doing.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, Tony. So you were very invested in Jedediah's retreat, like in Jedediah as a person, in his book.
Yes.
So why?
Because again, like, he's very authentic. He doesn't shy away from talking about things. Like, he even had mentioned that, it's the things that kind of scared him the most to write about, which is usually the most that resonated with people. So I really like that kind of, just very authentic and true telling of reality that connects with people, because we're all connected and we can all identify with something of all of our experiences. So it's finding that true thread that like we all can kind of resonate with some part of, that I think is really important.
Oh, okay. You just shared so much. If you haven't written those down, like the truth thread, I love that truth thread. It's like this thread of that's connecting our truths. Ooh, thank you for sharing that, Tony.
Yes.
Yeah, one other person. What's something that you're just like a yes, like a heck yes, like this is my brand.
I'd like to share because it's funny listening to Tony. I put it as one of the big things I fight is about authenticity and how I want to express that, which is not on Instagram or TikTok. So I started writing, I want to create or to have a trustworthy brand, then slash that authoritative, scratch that, and then it's authentic. So that's the one that resonates the most. For me, it's extremely important to be me. And I'm a rebel, and everything that everybody wants to do or tell me that I should be doing, I say it's not the way I want to do it. All the signals say it's gonna take me longer, but I just do the things that I feel that are authentic, me.
Leandra, let me ask you. So, what's one thing that's like so authentic to you? Yeah, what's one thing that's so authentic to you? Because I know you are your brand. You're Leonardo Pucci, like new nutrition and coaching. So, like, what's something that's like so authentic to this brand?
Empathy.
Okay. If that's not on the inside of your circle, I offer to add it.
Yeah.
Okay. So good. So good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask two more questions. I'm sort of going to pivot, and I know that it's correct. So two more questions, part of this exercise, and then we're going to move on to sort of creating a little vision for our brand in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years. So how do you want your brand to impact people? So how do you want this brand to impact people? I want you to not think about yourself right now and think about your customers. You know, like just focus on like, how do you want to impact people? What do you want people to say about your brand after they connect with it, after they buy something, after you support them? And another way, same question, or similar question, a little different. Why are your clients or customers so excited to say yes to your brand? I'm going to read those questions one more time. How do you want your brand to impact people? Why are your clients or customers so excited to say yes to your brand? So I'll let you wrap up that answer, and please come back to these questions. This circle, I'm going to send you the recording after the call, and reflect on them over the next week. Now, wrap up that answer, and I'm going to have go to another piece of paper, and I want you to be extra honest with yourself. Like, I know all of us are just, I can sense, are just sharing really truthfully, but the question I have for you is, what is stopping you from bringing full life to your brand? Like, what's the obstacle? You know, it's really important to identify a challenge or obstacle so you know the next correct step to take. Is it perfectionism, procrastination? Is it, I don't know how to do this and I need to ask for help? Is it everyone else is doing out there, like doing this thing out there, like, will anybody listen to me? Is it like a self-doubt? Yeah, what's stopping you? You know, what's an obstacle that you're currently facing? And before we do the next thing, it's really important to at least identify one thing. You know, and for me, my business is alive. Like, my brand is alive. Something that constantly pops up, and I was talking to my mom today about it, is imposter syndrome. You know, my mom was like, same for me. You know, she's been doing her job for 30 years. So imposter syndrome, definitely, it's like, am I the one to share the things and lead the things that I'm leading? So one or two people just pop on and maybe either put in the chat or share out loud, like, what are some of the things that are just stopping you?
I would say mine is a combination between procrastination and perfectionism. It's like a blend of both, probably the most.
I get that.
I have one.
Hey, Sam.
Oh, so mine is as if there's no room for me, like there's too many people doing it. Like, oh, everyone's doing it else. Like, we don't need an extra person doing it. So I feel like that's a big one. And what you said, imposterism.
Wow. Sam, thank you for sharing that. Oh my gosh. Oh, there's so much room for you. I know there is. And like, I know that's such a real thing because, yeah. So we have Bertha shares self-doubt in my environment. Tony, it seems overwhelming and I don't know enough about marketing myself. Okay. So now what I want all of us to do is just to sort of place that out of the picture. Like, I know that's real, but just like we shelved at the beginning, something that we're clearing, I want you to like actually shelf this thing. Maybe you like crumple a piece of paper and throw it somewhere, you know, or maybe you just physically like, you know, put this thing out of your sphere. Yes, Michelle. And now what I want us to do is really hang in a future, in a vision for our brand. I think it's really important to sometimes not always hang out in the present moment for this type of activity. So look either, you know, what I'm going to offer is look 10, 20, or 30 years in the future. That may seem big and like we're the people that are going to be doing big things. If you're saying yes to this workshop and igniting your brand, like you are a person that's going to do something big. So I want you to pick either like 10, 20, or 30 years in the future, okay? And I'm going to ask you these questions. So in 10, 20, or 30 years, I want to identify a year. What impact have you made on your community? You know, I'm going to share a sentence from my vision right here. Millions of diverse humans across the globe are embracing, loving, and celebrating their unique identity. We're living in a world where everyone has the freedom to be 100% who they are at their essence. So what positive and uplifting impact do you really want to make? You know, your brand is alive. You're building your brand, you're building your business, you're putting all the inside of your circle, like you're bringing life to that. So what's happening because of that? And I'm going to add these questions in the chat. You know, whose life do you want to make better? Or who do you want to support and just give them a new possibilities and a new perspective? And if you don't know a specific answer to one question, you don't have to answer it. I'm asking a few. What do you not see around you currently that you want to see in 10, 20, or 30 years? For me, I want every household to see representation of a same-sex couple in a children's book. You know, I want every single household to have that. Just, you know, in the shelf. You know, these are things they're big, but it's why I do what I do. So, what do you, and I'm going to add this question in the chat. What do you not see currently around you that you want to see? And if you don't fully believe it right now, write it down. Sometimes, a lot of the time, belief is a practice. Confidence is a practice. And if this is the very first time you're saying something, like, yeah, you're going to have to say it some more times. So I would love for at least one person, one or more people, to just share a little snippet of something that they want to create in the future. And something they want to create that you don't see now. Yeah, a couple people come on and please share.
I'll share. So I'm a breathwork and meditation specialist with a background in speech pathology and myofunctional therapy. And I've started my own business teaching others breathwork and meditation for anxiety and health, and also airway health. So I take it from a clinical side as well as a very much like esoteric side as well. And I just want it to be known that you can choose your breath. You can use this to balance your body. You can use this to create more presence and being able to be in the moment. And also, just because you have an emotion doesn't mean it's good or bad. It's just a message, and you can use something that's not a pharmaceutical approach to help support your body in a very foundational health level. I just think we too quickly, in general, don't slow, don't pause. And I know from my experience in my body and my clients that slow down, breathe, not just breathe, but breathe deeply. Let's give you the support to do that this is free. But then again, it's free as long as you know how to do it. So then it can't be monetized. So that's in there too. But that should be a first line of defense. How's your breathing? How's your airway? Because if you're not breathing, you're dead. So that's.
Yeah. So would you love that to be everyone's first line of defense? Like everyone's knowing to that, like, this is the first thing I should do.
Oh, I mean, like the providers themselves, they're holding their breath. They have anxiety. They have depression. Like the whole system's broken in general. But I think everyone, just by extending your exhale to inhale ratio, you can drastically change your autonomic nervous system and change from fight or flight to a rest and digest without a pill.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you some homework. You can choose to do it or not. So this, like, I would love for you to get a little more specific. So is it like every provider at every hospital? Is it every school nurse? Is it every household? Like, get a little more specific, like paint that picture of, like someone's like, oh my gosh, like, I feel anxious right now. Like, people just know, like, this is like the first tool I get in the toolbox. So hang around in that vision and share it with either Alexandria, Maria, or myself.
Okay.
Awesome. And Maria, I'll make sure you get the recording. I see she signed off. Okay, for our last 10 minutes together, one more person share something like a part of their vision that they feel called to share with this group today, and something they want to share for themselves.
I'd like to share. All right. Thanks, y'all. So part of my vision is that we're living in a world where people are providing for their life, whether it's money or goods, by doing what they love, and that people love what they do. So, and that's kind of the big picture. And then in the, I guess a subcategory is that under the uplifting and positive impact is that people aren't afraid to feel what they feel. People aren't afraid of anxiety or depression. They're okay feeling it, and they know how to make a shift. And then what things that I don't see around me that I want to see in 10 or 20 years is that people who meet each other in wherever, when people gather, people have an ease of conversation. They're able to say what they really want to say.
Yeah. Michelle, thanks for sharing that. I resonate with a lot of that. Okay, so now what we just did. So we hung out in the present and got really clear with aspects of this brand that we're in the creation of, what we're a hell yes for on the inside of our circle. We did that. Then we hung a little bit in our vision. You know, I love to lead people through meditations of their vision. We don't have the time for that, but this is just a little peek into it. So now what we're going to do over the next 5 minutes, I want everyone to leave here with a mission statement created or maybe rearrange if you currently have one. And what a mission statement is, it's what you're in the action of now. It's what you can be in the action of when this call finishes or in this moment. You know, my mission statement is to inspire people to connect to their authentic light, their truth, their message and magic they were born to share with themselves and others. You know, so there's this big part of, you know, to inspire authenticity. So I have a little formula for mission statements, and I'm going to show you. It's X plus Y equals Z. Okay, so right here. So Z is the vision. It's the vision you create for your brand. It's your vision statement. Y is your products and your services. It's offering breath work. It's offering coaches. It's coffee, you know, whatever it is. And X is your mission. So X is the mission, Y is the product, the service, the business part, like we talked about at the beginning, and Z is this vision. So what to really bring more language to our mission, I'm going to ask you some questions. So the first is like, how are you impacting your community and clients through your thoughts, words, and actions? And pull from some of the answers you already have. Like, how do you, whether you currently are, or how do you want to impact your community, clients through your thoughts, words, and actions? You know, Perrin, there's something with what you shared is like to inform people of certain choices, of more possibilities. So yeah, well, just that question. So how are you impacting your community and clients through your thoughts, words, and actions? And how do you want to empower others? I know some of us have already answered that. I'm going to add those to the chat. So how do you want to empower others? You know, and another question, and this is a big question, and I know we all have an answer. Why does our brand exist? Like, why do you want your brand to exist? And if you're done answering those questions, go back to your circle and underline or circle words that you really resonate with, that you're like, yes, that's how I want to impact people. That's language that I want to repeat daily. That's how I want to inspire people. And now I'm going to show you a couple examples of mission statements. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a lot of verbs, and we're going to pick some verbs that really resonate with you, because a mission statement, like me, it's that action. It's what you're in the action of now. Like there has to be some type of verb in the mission statement. So here are some examples. Can y'all see this? Okay, so I shared mine. So right here. So we have the Walt Disney Company. To entertain, inform, and inspire people around the globe through the power of unparalleled storytelling, reflecting the iconic brands, creative minds, and innovative technologies that make our world make ours the world premier entertainment company. They decided to add a lot of words to it, but like what they're in the action of daily is entertaining, informing, and inspiring people around the globe through storytelling. Starbucks, to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. So I'm going to share now some verbs, and I'm going to read some aloud, and just the ones that really resonate with y'all, write them down. Okay, cool. So we're going to share this list. I'm going to make this bigger. And if you write the words you're a hell yes for: accomplish, acquire, adopt, advance, affirm, amplify, appreciate, ascend, believe, brighten, build, choose, claim, collect, communicate, create, construct. And what I'll do is I'm going to make sure to send this to you after, so you'll get it in your email. Dream, enhance, encourage, embrace, envision, lead, inspire, support, validate. So I shared a lot. I'm going to stop the share for now, just because I know we're coming to a close. I can't believe it's already been this time together. It's been so amazing. So what I'm going to have you do, and we're going to do this like in like a 60-second. I love to do this when I first support a client, is just create a quick little mission statement. You got some pieces. What you're going to do now is put it together. So everyone write down the word to, then a verb that resonates with y'all. So to inspire, to ignite, to inform. Who are you informing? Is it all people? Is it a certain group of people? Is it the queer community? Is it women? Is it marginalized groups? Is it every health provider? So someone come on and share so far what they have on their mission statement, and I'm going to show you how we're going to finish it. So what are those first 3 or 4 words?
I've got mine, Luca.
Okay, share it.
It's to nourish and support teachers in transition.
Okay, amazing, great. By da 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 da.
My passion. Oh,
go for it.
okay. My passion is to empower people to take charge of their health and wellness.
Okay. Okay. Great. Yeah. And like I was going to say before, so Disney's is they're doing this to entertain and inform and inspire through storytelling, so adding a little piece. So now as we're wrapping this up in the next 90 seconds, this is your homework. I want you to have some fun with your mission statement. When are you most creative? Is it morning, afternoon, evening? I want you to set some time aside and play with it. Like Maria said, let get the brush and just have fun with this canvas. So what I want you to do is have some fun with that and then share it with a friend. Try it on, speak it aloud. And ask yourself, this is this last question I want to leave you with, is I'm going to use for my mission statement. How can I help someone connect to their authentic light today? So turn your mission statement into a question. How can I help someone's health today? Because I really believe that each of us can start stepping into this brand today, whether you have it already created or you want to this year or next year or in 5 years. And share it with me. Y'all have my email on Instagram, or some of you have my number. Share it with me. And I want to respect everyone's time. I want to say thank you so much. I can't believe that we did all of this, from getting clear with what we want to create, to creating this a little bit of the vision, to creating this mission statement. I want to say just great job to each and every one of you. And ask yourself, like, what's the next correct step? Is it for me to reword my vision statement? Is it to reflect on my answers? Is it to answer more? I asked a lot of questions. Answer more. Is it to ask for help? Is it to talk about this with your partner? So identify the next correct step and just know that I'm totally here as a support system. Reach out if you have a question. June 29th, I'm getting ready to launch a brand development group coaching program. I'll send info about that if that feels correct, but just know that I'm totally here as a champion and someone to stand for what you're doing. And just thank you for taking time and a couple extra minutes after 15 to be here. I hope you got what you came here for. Let's come off mute and just say a nice little goodbye.
Thank you, Luca.
Thanks, Luca.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Well,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. So fun.
So good.
Thank you, Luca. Mission accomplished, man.
Yes,
Fingers
Gloria.
Yeah, so awesome. And I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for your gratitude. Enjoy
Bye,
your
y'all.
evening.
Bye.